Hello everyone, welcome to the stream. We have updates today. Factorio is deciding that it wants to update. Let's play. There's also going to be mod updates. Yeah, that's what I thought. At the start, restart. There is an update to that mod, so I have to now... Alright. Disable all. So if you were wondering about, oh, right. Would help if I had the light on. If you're wondering about how updates can affect the game, sometimes you have to disable everything. Fortunately enough, it's relatively easy to get all the mods that I have active for the save re-enabled, but first I have to update. Now what I don't know is if this update broke angels in any way. Because I think what I just did, if classes updated, Bob's character classes updated, which I'm pretty sure it just did, I cannot roll back to the previous version. I would have to try to download the previous version of Bob's classes because the most recent update to Bob's classes will not work on 0.34, 17.34, but it will work with the current one. But if the current one breaks angels and I have to roll back, go to stream save 3, sync all mods. Yep, sync all the things. And let's hope we don't get an error here with angels or anything like that, or if we go into the game, Alright. Afraid of the dark. Can I live with that? I guess I have to. It'll make the, stream a fair bit darker come night, and it'll make the video on YouTube a fair bit darker come night. Tell you what, how about instead of continuing our campaign today of Bobs and Angels, I renamed the stream title to be we're gonna play vanilla. Vanilla 0.17 because mods are broken right now. Yeah, that's going to be what we do today. We're going to play vanilla on a new game. Because I'm gonna stream regardless of whether or not stuff is broken. Oh boy, and I need this stream today. My morning has been rather stressful. I have that telltale knot in my stomach that just really, that terrible stress ball feeling just in the pit of the gut, and Yeah, it's just awful, and I had to vent a little bit in an email that I sent out. I was very respectful, but I had to get my thoughts about a process out there, so I'm dealing with HR. I think you can just put a period on that and fully understand the feelings that I am feeling right now without knowing just about anything else. Very specifically, I'm dealing with HR for a state university. Because I do website work for a group in my old department. Department of Geology, and yeah, cliffs off, enemies off. I think technically, actually, it's... Well, we could do peaceful mode, or just... I'm just gonna turn them off. Which also means turning off pollution. Water, bigger, coverage, smaller. Trees, bigger, coverage, smaller. Cliffs, off. I'm gonna keep this stuff default to at least give us a similar situation. Though we have RSO, so none of this probably... We do not have RSO, right. Mods are off. This is vanilla. I need to remember that this is vanilla. Play. Step 1 is to get my color to cobalt. That is always going to be step 1. What is with the forest here? Okay, my resources are all the way down there. Wow, 1.3 million? That close on iron? That is, handy, to say the least. Why do I have this up? I don't even know why I have those pinned. I don't need those pinned. Heck, of the things that would be pinned, I would have expected it to be, there is no spoon timer counting down, but, needless to say, I am not a speedrunner. That is one thing that I am not. So yeah, I do website work for a group in my department, and didn't I say to not have cliffs? Did I set that wrong? Oh, they... So this is new, actually. Perhaps I should have read the patch notes. Perhaps I should have actually read patch notes for 1735. So now there isn't a none on cliffs. I'm pretty sure this changed now, because I'm pretty sure the way that you used to turn off enemy bases was taking the slider size down to a 0 value. It used to be no bases here, but now it's a check mark. So they changed this a bit. Yeah, I don't want cliffs. We'll restart that. It'll be the exact same map, just without cliffs. Oh, also color. So because I graduated, now I am classified as a... I have to be classified as a different position, because they used to have me listed as a student hourly, and the position was supposed to have renewed in January, but the whole process was incredibly slow, and I have yet to have the position renewed. And yeah, they basically want to audit me now for the time spent this year to get the back pay. To which I had to just now tell them that, well, actually, what I'm doing for them, I'm essentially a virtual assistant doing website maintenance and monitoring an email address and just various things that you would associate with quote virtual assistant or independent contractor freelance. And that's what I said. Is I am basically an independent contractor freelance. Maybe you should have some. I don't know if the university has a method set up or in place for establishing a freelance position or being a freelance. So now I have to remember how to vanilla. That will be the end of that discussion, because I just sent out that really, really long email basically saying what I do is not defined specifically by time. I respond to requests to update as the requests are made in a timely manner, and I'm not necessarily thinking about, oh, I have to go in and punch time online and punch out when I'm done and keep a log of every single time I respond to an email or delete an email or forward an email or update a plugin on WordPress. It's like I am doing that constantly every single day, pretty much. Why do I constantly take coal? My early game is going to be Angels, by the way. It's too used to Angels, early game. Way too used to Angels. Oh, this is so dark. This is so dark. Kick that off. Take out most of that. That will feed each other. I'm going to get quite a few of these, in all actuality. Boink, 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 boink. Do not have an even distribution. So much quality of life that I had in all the mods. Note that, yes, there are mods that work, that are quality of life, that I could potentially be using right now, but screw it. We're doing vanilla for now. For today, at least, just to get an idea of, hey, it exists. Like, hey, remember this? Remember this playstyle? Yeah, it's a thing. It continues to exist. I don't know why I want 8 of these, but I'm getting 8 of these. Probably because I am still so used to Angels. And used to putting 8 miners around the single burner crusher to feed 8 furnaces. I'm going to need probably something on stone and 4 of these. I'll have 2 on stone. Get chests to store actual stone. Here I am hitting Shift C. When it doesn't exist, I need more coal. I need more coal production. Need a lot more coal production. I think I want that line to be 8 long. 8 to 10. So yeah, it's just been a nightmare getting the position set up again. And I just had to tell them, you know what? In the future, it would be a hell of a lot easier if my website position, quote, my website coordinator position, because that's the actual job title, or at least it was, it's far better suited as an independent contractor work that works independently of time. That I get paid for the work that I am contracted to do, and not for the time it takes me to physically do the work strictly. Because that's what it's like right now, is I am paid strictly for time, and the way that that has operated thus far has, let's just say, it's not been particularly wonderful for me and for my quote supervisor, former advisor for my master's degree. Because not only do I have to always record time, but my advisor has to approve the time that I record. And of course, since what I do is rather continuous, I generally just have picked a time to set aside where I have to set a reminder for myself, hey, log time now and clock out now. Even though the work that I technically do is somewhat continuous. Do I want that there? Probably... yeah, I guess. Oh, and in absolutely no way am I complaining that I actually have this... Did I just... That wasn't what I clicked? I'm pretty sure. Yeah, yeah, let's not... Let's just assume that I did not just click on the wood that I had. Why did I do that? This is why I like even distribution. I just keep making these burners because, I don't know. They have absolutely zero use after this stage of the game. They're not even required in making other things. It's like, I would think that the burner mining drill would be an ingredient to make electric mining drills, but actually no, they're not. Really? Can you only store 8 inside of you? Or is it just taking that long? Must expand. Must get more production. Hey, it's a lab. Hey, it's 2 boilers. Welcome to coal. Iron. Give me steam engines. So, getting into the actual game, next step is power, quite clearly. I want at least the one boiler and the 2 steam engines. Burner inserters, pipes, and poles. And then I'm going to need automation science packs, red science packs. Oh boy, that's... Now we're going to be getting into the differences between vanilla and Bob's mods. Science colors. So vanilla, it's what? It starts with red. That's all I remember at this point, because it has actually been well over, over 100 hours since I played vanilla. Longer than that, even. Well over 100 gameplay hours. Probably 2, 3. Been a while since I played vanilla. Let's see, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's the bare minimum, I think, is 10. I could also use a radar. Sure, some electric mining drills after that. Alright, so this is the problem with this particular map. Is, yeah, the water is a little bit far away. Alright, where am I going to orient? Probably... Oh, and I need to set you up to that. There are none of the... no loaders in this version of the game. Want one of those. Guess this will be my medium and big and substation and pipe. You are chests. You are assembling machines. I guess the way I'll do it this time, I'll have my different inserter types. Stack filter, fast, inserter, long. Oh god, I need 5 slots, so I need the inserter position, the long-handled, the filter, the stack, and the filter stack. Oh boy. Alright, so I'm orienting this way. And I need to be sure I'm far enough that... Ooh, that's a tight fit. That is a tight fit, but it fits. Also, we do not have squeak through, so I cannot run through this. I can run through... There's something I can run through, though. It's... And I forget what exactly. I think you used to be able to go through here, maybe? Or is it this pipe segment, if I had more than one? No, you can't go through that either. Pretty sure there was a time I could go through some aspect of that, but I definitely forget when and what. Yeah, just start grabbing things. Coal stack's only to 50 in vanilla, so there's that to keep in mind as well for this phase of the game. Let's get some belts. Oh, excellent. I had not quite realized / remembered yellow belts in vanilla have the exact same belt speed now as the default settings for bobs. Want 6, I guess, of those. Well, I guess at the start, I should at least attempt to set up at least somewhat properly. I need to go and get some coal to feed this machine, because you have to kickstart it with some coal at least. Put down the lab that I should have. And get automation, which actually, yeah, that sounds good to me. I will take it. I will take it and put that in. This is only 10, right? 10? Yes. Oh, and then it's green. Okay, and that's the belts and inserters. Fortunately enough, the Bob's Mods and Vanilla, while the color of the science is different, the requirements for the science are mostly the same. Mostly the same. For the actual ingredients. There's more complexity. I don't know if it's added by Angels or Bob's. There's more complexity on the higher end with additional ingredients, but basic ingredients are very similar. Whoops. Give me all the iron plates, please. Hey, you need some coal. Also, I think I am in this whole process that I have been going through with the email that I just sent out. I think that email that I had just sent out could be construed as marketing or as a strategy to some extent for getting a better deal out of things. But we shall see. We shall see how it's taken. I will get logistics. So I get undergrounds and splitters next. That's how many? 20? Yeah, I remember there being a reason that I would usually do by hand an additional 20, and I think it's so that I can get these going. So now I can build assembling machines, which I will definitely build everything that I can build of assembling machines. Also very happy to have the long-handled inserters. Oh, being without Bob's logistics is going to be slightly painful. Oh, it's going to be slightly painful having to design around not having control over what side of the belt stuff deposits onto. Oh boy. But it's a limitation that honestly can and should be worked around. gonna go ahead and put down that. So that I can see in general what's going on in my immediate vicinity, no matter where I am on the map, but also so that we can start seeing more of the map without having to actually run out there to see it. Now, another thing I should note is the base game. While there are some things that take wood as fuel, I don't need to automate wood production because circuits are made out of iron and copper. Yeah. I have to get used to how I can't believe I'm actually saying this, but I have to get used to how much simpler vanilla is compared to how I have been playing for the past couple 100 hours. And that in and of itself is a challenge. Like, really? Yes, really. That in and of itself is a challenge. So I will need to have a coal pipe. I call it a pipe, but it's... Wow, I am bad at this. So belts. I will very often probably be calling belts pipes. That just seems to be something that I do. Of course, this is in my way. Are you finishing your final? Yes, you are. How convenient. You can relocate here and take that. And then, right, burner inserters. And power. Okay, go there, and these can get dismantled now. I will no longer need these. That was actually a fairly fast transition, to be completely honest. It's only, well, I say that, it's been 30 minutes. For me, the burner phase of vanilla takes anywhere between, I don't know, 25 to 45 minutes, depending on how I'm doing, and considering I have been talking through this entire process about various things and been semi-distracted and venting. Yeah, I think it's gone rather swimmingly. Yeah, 900 is being consumed at the moment. You can produce. So I'm only really using one. Oh hey, that's it. That's it. That's the one you can pass through. Okay. I understand. So, you can pass through boilers this way to actually get in to place these poles. And yet, that becomes a bit harder later on. Okay, steel. Why do I not just do that? When I first started playing the game, I really didn't use or make use of the ghosts for blueprinting, but now I do. Now the question is, do I actually want this one here, or do I want this to be oriented done, well, clearly not in that position, but one more tile away from that, so that I have a total of 20 that will be fed by the single pump. It'll go. The last one will be here. I'll have to move this and reconfigure this so that I can then do an underground pipe. That will be that. Also, this will be extended out. I'm just not going to extend it out right now. Hold down Shift, by the way, to place ghosts. If you actually have the item. Alright, next. What is next? I want to definitely get some long-handed inserters, some underground, some splitters, some regular transport belts to make back what I just spent of my transport belts. Because I'm an idiot. I'll need stone to make buildings. I will want stone bricks, because they do give you that 30% bonus to movement speed. I have to think now. I want my mining drills. Because I am planning the iron. I'm just gonna take my audio. I just put it down a couple of ticks because I just remembered that when listening to the VODs, it's a little weird. It seems like it's peaking at times. I don't know if it can be rectified just by reducing the input volume in my OBS studio, or if I have to do something like that a bit sooner. Actually, you know what? I think I have to do that on the audio interface, so that, because I actually am seeing the green clipping lights. And then because I did that, I have to now increase it in OBS. Okay. And that probably also screws up a whole bunch of other settings, so just let me know if I sound like complete trash after doing that. In particular, I think I have a noise gate that might need to be adjusted because of that. Yeah, it might need to be adjusted. It might clip the beginning of some of the things that I say, or the ending of some of the things that I say. With the current settings, but it's not something I'm gonna muck about with at the moment. like that. I'm just waiting on handcrafting right now, to be completely honest. I guess what I should do is keep science moving. I want you there, I guess. Chest. Not there. Oh, right. Regular inserters. You need regular inserters to make the long inserters, and I went and I made a whole bunch of long inserters without any thought to how many regular inserters I have. And it just is a little sucky that you can't adjust these on the output side of things. Because sure, I could put this like here. I would have to move that down one to do so. Also, let's actually get iron chests. Oh, right. That is sort of the point. That is a lot of copper, and it needs twice as much iron. And I think technically it can feed 2 labs, but... Or it might just depend on the science. Still not making those, huh? Let's kill those boilers. So that I can actually start making, inserters. You can't really see what's going on behind me, but I'm making things. You can see, like, right down here, some things. Oh, they're so slow. Okay, give me more. Do I really need to be holding on to this much stone? Probably not. In all actuality... So the important things in vanilla that stone gets used for. Walls. For military science. Which I think is needed for at least one power armor variant. Or something that I want in power armor. And it's used for stone furnaces. Of course, as the actual rocks, it's used for rails. And I think rails get used in one of the science productions, if I am remembering all of that. Hey, get placed back down, please. So, while I don't need a lot of stone, I need a non-zero amount of stone. I'm just thinking, because I'm gonna have to feed that for it to actually produce. I no longer need you. Oh, I have no more of those. Cool. Let's make more of those. Those are one thing that do require wood. the one thing that you can't actually automate the production of are the small electric poles, because you will constantly have to supply a chest at minimum with wood, because you cannot automate the production of wood in vanilla. This is, of course, offset by there being an absolute crap ton of wood, even if trees are turned off. I think even if trees are turned off, it's that you don't get forests of trees, but I think you still get the, like, fallen logs? Like, debris type things that can give you wood. Because I doubt you can get 0 wood on a map, because then you can't even build small electric poles. There has to be something that gives you wood. I would argue you don't need that much wood. I am also a little bit miffed that there even is a patch of forest here, even though I specifically set it so that there shouldn't be as many. Well, there are much bigger gaps between forests, is what I set it to do, I think. Alright, give me power. Make me stone furnaces. I'm going to actually need a fair few of them. So, a lot of what I need right now, our next step is to get iron mining with miners. Mining drills. I think I want to do as much as I can to try and plan for the saturation of this patch and for the saturation of this copper. But I will need lines of furnaces to produce produce the plates for each of them. I will also need to plan for saturation of my coal patch here. In the meantime, I'm just collecting a bunch of iron. I will, of course, go up here to stick some more of that iron in here, because I am iron starved up there. And you can see how much extra copper we have versus iron, and my production of copper is half that of iron. That's just how this is working out for me in the early game. Really, you can get away with only having 2 burners of copper in the early game, I've noticed. But really, you need a lot of iron. No matter how much you put of the copper, it will tend to not be your limiting factor. Alright, so then I have to think what direction, orientation, all that of the main bus. What shall be the main bus? I want to avoid these trees. Well, let's say that our main bus is going to start where I'm going to start building stuff on the side of it here. Now, note that in vanilla, our gap on yellow belts is 4. It's technically 5, but it's a gap of 4. You are jumping 5 spaces from the start tile, but the actual gap to build between is 4. The red belts will be 6, and the blue belts will be 8, if I am not completely mistaken. So when designing the bus, or when planning the bus, it will start in sets of 4 and evolve into sets of 6, or sets of 8. Or it will just stay as 4. Let's just say this is going to be 4 iron, this is going to be 4 copper, and then I have other things to think about. I need something for engines, something for stone, something... I don't know. It's... Let's just say... I'm thinking in the scale of angels, by the way, at this point. So if I'm planning out a bus, it's going to be a big bus. So that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. One more. 10. 10 sets of 4 for vanilla. That should be somewhat sufficient to start. And then the pipes will be here. I guess I will mark pipes. How am I gonna mark pipes? I guess with pipes. So, pipe. I'll just do 1, 2, 3, 4. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. At bare minimum, you will want a pipeline of lubricant, and quite possibly a pipeline of... I think it's sulfuric acid, honestly. I think it's sulfuric acid. It's in for batteries. Yeah, the battery stuff. Acid for batteries, yeah. Did I forget in vanilla if lubricant is needed on blue belts? Would not surprise me. Alright, so if that's going to be our bus, we need to then feed our bus. Now, how are we going to feed our bus? Well, this actually takes a lot more space, and can end up being rather spaghetti without some form of planning to begin with. So if I'm going to have a line, 4 lines, 4 saturated lines of iron, eventually that can only be fed by, I guess, trains, honestly, because there's... I don't think... Well, A, this iron will not exist forever. Resources are not unlimited in the base game. You will constantly need to be searching out and finding new sources of resources. Granted, there are resource patches that are so rich and so large the further you get out that there are effectively infinite resources, and the map is so huge that it may as well be considered infinite for all intents and purposes for how long you're going to be playing a single map. The whole point, basically, is just find a patch you know is going to last for, I don't know, 1,000, 2,000 hours, or enough patches to cover that much time, and I think you'll be good. Oh, it's so dark. I need lights. That'll be what we work on next. So, I want to be sure that we are far enough away for these lines from here so that we can saturate this and then send it to feed our lines here. Now, I'm going to do this with spacing of 24 and 2. Well, spacing of lines of 12, but it's 12 on each side. And that's one line. I need a lot more inserters. A lot more. Now, if you have been watching thus far on the Angels playthrough, the modded playthrough, I have used this setup for that. For the initial operations, the initial smelting operations, because we have not quite yet gotten into metallurgy. Is that the spacing I want, or do I want to go one more out? I think I'll just be on the safe side and do one more out. Because I need to do one of those, and I would like having this gap here. Alright, so there's that. That will be one line. And I think that will basically saturate one full iron line. This, of course, will saturate the other. I can't believe I muted myself in time. Wow, that was interesting. So that'll be iron line 2. Whoops. This will be iron 3, iron 4. You can see how this is going to get a little bit crazy. Because then I'm going to have copper 1, copper 2. Probably just going to have the 2 for now, but I need to plan for copper 3 and copper 4. And 5, 6, 7, and 8. Eventually, maybe. Whether or not they're done here, I don't know. I'm just planning out the space for it now. And I will, of course, also need... I'll probably just do this one here and then route it wherever it needs to go on the bus. But that will be stone bricks. Because you need stone bricks to make walls. And I think also... I forget if it's rocks or bricks for cement, but I will need cement. 1,000 units of cement to launch a rocket. To build the silo to launch the rocket. And that will need access to iron ore, as well as water, as well as the whatever stone. I think it's bricks. Alright, so we got these. Inserters. This, of course, uses a lot of inserters. It's also going to use a lot of power poles. I am really looking forward to having bots. A personal roboport. So that they can do this building for me. Now, unfortunately, remember what I was saying about wanting to saturate this with miners? Yeah, that's going to be a little bit difficult because I also have to route the coal. Hey, that works. Alright, so this will be coal in. Need more. Oh, am I... I'm not gonna have... I'm not going to have enough iron to do what I want. You there. Give me your iron. Really? Alright, now I forget how many of these miners it takes to saturate to saturate the yellow belt, but in particular to saturate the 24. I'll see how much this does with 12 total miners. Yep, that should work. Oh, I missed squeak through. Then I have power easiest here. Then I will need to power all of that. Looks like that's not quite enough. We're one set over half. So that's 20? Or 22 total to saturate? Don't know. All I know is I can do the full line and feed it in, and if it's enough... Why are you not... Oh. These are one off, aren't they? Alright, so that's iron. One line of iron. Now, I know that this amount should saturate the yellow belt, and then going to the next step of furnace, will saturate a red belt. I think if the red belt's twice the speed of yellow. Because I forget the vanilla values for the speeds. And it looks like that line is sufficient for the ore to feed into one of these. So that's good. Lots of those are required, and lots of these are required, because now... Remember what I said about I have 4 of these reserved, so... This is stone, 4 iron, then we get down to copper. I may as well run this down the smelting line. And I think I have enough room that I could extend a full extra 12 smelters out if things come down to it. And give me more of those. Let's get the, how do I want this? That's 14 going down. Let's, scoot on over. I will put you here. For later use. And build these out. Excellent. And I should have enough inserters. It's 48 inserters per smelting line. That is the one thing about this entire setup that I like the least, is just simply the amount of inserters this requires. It also needs quite a few power poles. As you can clearly see. And I will need more of those. A lot more of those. May as well just plan out the line. That should do it. Let's, speed that up. I don't need another 5 mining drills right now. Alright, let's get these going. Okay, so that's the power there. I also need the power to the copper line. This will, of course, be modified a bit once I get access to medium power poles. I need a lot more belts. Fortunately, these get made in sets of 2, and I have a lot of iron. I have a lot of iron. Am I fully saturating this yellow belt with the iron? Yes. That I am. That I am. Can't even do a straight line while walking on the thing. Really? More! Waiting. Everyone hates the waiting. This is why I love the tech that increases handcrafting speed. Because we are not quite at that point where we have automated. Really? One. Where we have automated our belt production. We will be. Not quite yet. And then this must be routed over and up. Now, will this eventually need to be adjusted? More than likely. But for now, there we go. Now, just as soon as that ore takes its sweet time getting here, once that copper is here, it will start filling things up, and we can start moving on to bigger, better, more beautiful things. Get some stuff queued up that I know I will need. Okay, so step 1. I am torn between just getting yellow science, getting circuits, and getting belts. This is rather annoying, this decision, having to make this decision. What shall I start with? Science is really important. But if I'm going to do science, I'm going to do yellow and red together. Slash, I'm going to do red and green together. It's because that's what we have. And I don't even have access to green. Do I have them really far apart from each other to feed into a line of labs? Sure, fine. I'll start with half production and go from there. You. No, not you. You are later. You. Of course, I also need these. Seriously? Hate when that happens. How am I going to do this is the question. I have the option of sending out with long inserters or sending out here. The intelligent solution will probably be sending it out here. So feed in with you, and then feed out. Guess either one is possible, but feed out with you. And the reason I want to do it this way is so that I have the option of running this iron line up past this, what will be a set of 10 assembling machines. Let's siphon off some iron, make more assembling machines. And more labs. I want more labs. Get that, please. Green science. Alright, and then just hold down left mouse. Do not want those that side. I want them right here. And I need to bring in a half belt of copper on the inside lane. I hate having to put it on that side of the lane. I can't help but think that there is a much better way of doing this. Okay, so that is giving me the most basic of science. And then I want to do this way. And then actually have the science labs starting here. And the reason is because we're gonna need quite a bit of stuff. There will be a lot of different types of sciences. Base game, there's the red, the green, the gray, the blue, the purple, the yellow, and the white. Space science. So that's 7. Pretty sure it's 7. You can have things on each side of the belt, science on each side of the belt, so that's at least 4. So you need 4 belts, so I'm just planning to have 2 on each side. Pretty much. Gonna need more of those. I am doing this with reason. I have my reasons. It is going to look a lot similar to my setup for greenhouses in Bob's Angels. So that just needs power, yes? I need 2 more labs. Currently making more inserters. And I apparently need quite a few more belts. I need apparently quite a bit of iron for those belts. I think I have a sufficient amount of iron for the moment to build more belts. Yeah, that's... Oh! I didn't plan for something. And there might be people who know or can see what I haven't planned for at this point in time that I really, 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 really should have planned for. And that really, 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 really should have planned for happens to be steel. Steel production! Where you actually need to feed in some iron plates to get steel. I'm going to say that the easiest way would be this. So you do remember how I set up a space here, right? Well, turns out that space comes in handy when setting up steel. How many furnaces has this thing made while I have been away doing other things? A somewhat sufficient amount for the moment. And how many of these? Bricks. Plenty. Oh right, they only stack to 100 in this. In vanilla. Which is incredibly and supremely sad. Give me fast inserters, please. That would be most convenient. And if this is going to be my bus, I may as well start walking my line that I will use to mark the edge of... And yes, I could make this just the 4x4 to begin with, but I want to make sure I get as far as I can with the resources I have, because I'm not probably going to have enough. Oh, I have 59 more. Excellent. Let's square that off then. And let's... I don't know, let's remove this. And let's remove this. This is just to be in line with everything else. This line is now a line. And to be consistent with said line, I can do something like that when beating the thingy, but yeah, to be consistent with said line. Of course, I will have some things overlap, but this is the do not put buildings here line, not the never put any belts here line. I will eventually be needing stone walls. Note how we're quickly getting to the point where I need green science. I don't need steel for green science, so I guess what I can do next is circuits. What is that ratio again? It's oh hi. Optics. Yeah, that would be important. What is this ratio again? It is 3 copper cables per half second. This is, I think, 2 per half second. So it's, yeah, 2 to 3. So it's 2 copper cables to 3 of those. Alright, I guess I'll get military. Sure. I don't need it, but I'll get it anyway. So it's... There is actually a layout for this that, should work for me. So this is... So this is copper in, this is iron plates in, and this is circuits out. Ta-da! Then, of course, it's mirrored on the other side, except that all of these are the opposite. So it's now being fed by reds, and it's exporting with regulars. And of course, I also need that. And this will also be copper in. So a single line of iron in to feed our green circuits. Gee, I think I might remember how this works. Who'da thunk it? However, I will very, very shortly be breaking for lunch. This is on this side, yes. Once I get... Why did I... that in... Once I get this up, then wired up. That actually do all 4? Yes, it does. Oops. Let there be power. Welcome to the land of automated green circuits. With that, it is time for me to take my regularly scheduled break to make some lunch. If the kitty is up for it, he will get his lunch as well. That depends on how he's feeling. If he complains for it, he gets it. If he doesn't complain for it, he doesn't. So, Anyway, I will be back shortly with some lunch. This gets cut for the YouTube version. Until we're back live, I will be back sitting here talking in about 15 minutes or less, and eat for about 15 minutes, so we'll actually get back to the video at around 1. Until then, I will be playing Factorio music until I get back at least, and yeah, see you soon. Alright, so I have returned. Hello again, YouTube, and all that other good stuff, VODs, and yeah. Heavy armor has completed. Our next steps will involve green science, so... what is the first green science tech that I want to be taking? Probably, tool belts. We obviously cannot begin that yet, but what I can do, I have to think about, do I want this to be greens? I suppose I can make this greens. The green sockets can be there. I have lights now, do I not? Yes, I do. Let's make ourselves the lights. The beautiful, glorious lights. Speaking of, how's the power? Yeah, I thought so. I had a feeling that our power was going to be just a little bit taxed. Just a little bit. So, how about I now make some of you, some of you. So here's our power. I need these. I need boilers. I need boilers. This is gonna take a while because it needs pipes. Lots of pipes. Let's not bother making another 10. This is already doubling our power production. Just as soon as I can get these boilers and the requisite pipes, spare pipes, while I'm here, I may as well set this all up and get it ready. And hey, while I'm up here, now we can start working on the additional steam engines. There. Alright. We're good for now. This will, of course, now put additional pressure on this line. Eventually, I will be demanding a bit too much of the coal. Until then, though, it is time to make green science. Oh, so pretty. Alright. So, the way I tend to do this particular science is I'll have an array that looks a bit like this. Well, I don't know if you can classify it as an array or not, but anyway. Inside is that, and then transport belts there. We will feed directly into... Now, this is not to ratio for the amount of gear wheels feeding into the number of machines. But what is at a ratio is that these machines will produce at 100% efficiency, ideally. And it will feed 12 of our green science. This one's logistic science, yeah. I'm pretty sure it feeds 12. I could always be wrong about that. And then this... Oh, hi. You haven't even been working at your peak efficiency this whole time. Now, this one gear wheel can feed 10 of the red, so... And I don't even have enough labs to really consume the production from 10 at this point. So why even really bother with that? Now, I have to think about what's routing in, what's routing out, how am I going to set this up? So... when I don't... and I have to think about how I'm setting this up when I don't have the ability to control what goes on each side of the belts. So... this might look a little funky. Might end up looking a little funky. It will work. It shall work that way. Then I need to think, what side do I want to eject things? And at what spacing? So, iron plates have to come up here. Need more belts. Iron plates come up there. Science is gonna come out here. So I'm gonna need a fair few more red inserters and regulars. And then it's... you will get fed like so. And then, of course, this will all feed in this way. Just like that. And that's all that's needed. No, that is not all that is needed. I am wrong. That is what is needed, and I will need a U for that. The whole point of setting up the green circuits prior to doing this was to be able to feed the inserter production for this science. Is that everything? I think that's everything. It's time to light it up with wires and all that good stuff. I'm just holding down left mouse button here, letting the game determine where it wants to set things. And speaking of lights, let's actually put lights somewhere. I guess there. We are now lit up with some lights. I probably want some lights, probably here. Excuse me. And then, light it up. And, this should ideally work. For the exception that I can't actually eliminate the belts from this machine fast enough. So, the belt machine would actually feed, I think, 24 of the green science, but the inserter is what limits it, because this one can only feed 12. And this is pretty much because you make 2 transport belts per craft versus just the 1 inserter. But we are producing green science. Everything is wonderful and beautiful. And our science is not actually connected. Now it is connected. It's moving. So, you know how we've built everything with yellow belts so far? Yeah, that's gonna be changing shortly into reds, because the next step in all of this, after making yet more belts and extending our lines out a little bit of our actual goods that we currently have. Also, I tend to follow the principle of plan for the additional lines of iron coming in, but only make them when you need them. That's how I tend to operate in this game. Make only when you need. Otherwise, you're just delaying. That's all you're really doing, is you're just delaying. Because sure, I could spend the time and get another line of iron in, get another line of copper in, do all that stuff on the back end. And in the meantime, what's happening exactly? It's all backing up, and it's essentially stopped up here. You'll end up with however many 100 units in each of these machines, and it'll just not work because you're producing so much that it cannot be used. And well, what's the point at that point of continuing to add even more to your production if you're not using it? Also, I have way too much coal in my inventory, taking up space. But, yeah, assembling machines, those would be nice. I tend not to do a singular big mall at this point in the game. But what I do make is a belt mall. I do make belt malls, so, and inserter malls, but when it comes to the production of everything else, I just tend to, like, split off and put stuff in, spaces. I know that's not how I should be doing it, but that's how I end up doing it. Stuff finds places. This way, you don't require anything special, but you require something special. I will also be needing red and blue. And then these will terminate. I'm not worried about having 3 lines in. In fact, what I can do... Hello. Hello, chat. Sarpy. I am currently making myself belts. It will be glorious. And I will need to put in a half line of iron. How did I do this one again back here? There we go. And then, just to be annoying, I'll do that. And then this will need to feed by 1 off. And if I'm not mistaken, the red belts went... Oh, we're like a split second away. The red belts just need gears in the circuits, so they won't be needing the iron. These will need the iron, but the reds will not. And then, of course, these will eventually lead into the blues, but I will set those up fully later. Any idea why mods are not working? Mods are not working because the devs decided it would be a fantastic idea to change references to the entity that is your character from any time it referred to it as player to character. So any mod that changes your character's entity that had any reference to player prior stops working until they update it so that it says character versus player. That's the easiest way I can explain it. think it's a little bit more technical than that, and it depends on the situation, because there are actually some instances of the game that refers to the player, as in you, the person looking at the screen, because you can delete your character entity and still move your camera around and act like you're still there. You are still the player slash the camera and user interface, but it's a separate thing from the character entity. That's why C block is not working. Yes, that would be why Angels stops working. That would be why C block starts working. That would be why Afraid of the Dark has stopped working, and a whole bunch of other things. Bobs are updated. Bobs work. If you're just using Bobs and don't have much else, Bobs will work. Bob was on top of things and managed to actually update his mods prior to the release of this update, because they announced what was changing on the 1st, or yesterday, or whatever. They announced it the day before, so yesterday, and we're like, hey, mod makers, we're telling you ahead of time, this releases tomorrow. You have until then to fix your mods. Great idea, folks! It broke everything. For everyone. Well, and anyone running Angels no longer can do so. Really. Not easily, anyway. I could probably make it work, but... any mod that will change the entity of your character, which is now referred to as character in various locations in the code, is broken. Alright, so, while discussing all of that, let's add some lights. I am now not producing those because I need that. And I am not producing those because I need to do that. Excellent! I now have that. Yellow belts are producing, and I have the spots for the reds, but I will need the gear wheels for the red, and a lot of people hate doing this way, but I'm doing it this way, and you can't stop me! I did this for people who have problems with odd numbers. They're like, oh hey, yeah, gap 0. And I could actually, if I needed to, I could feed in another edge of stuff into here, which is quite convenient in Bob's, I should say. Guess it's Bob's with making red belts, because they require a tin plate input. I just run the tin plate on the one outside line, and voila, you have the things for the reds. Just waiting on logistics 2 to finish up. What is the issue on the speed there? Probably just the fact that I don't have enough labs. More labs are required. And I may as well plan for the extra red consumption. Do I have the long inserters for this? No. Why would I? I'm going to be extending my labs up, I'm going to need more long inserters. I'm apparently out of iron in my inventory. I should get on that. And get on the green circuits. And get another 5 labs. And get more long inserters. I need to make my inserter mall. I'm apparently out of belts. Good thing I just made a convenient singular location that has belt production. I need to limit that. And that. And I will eventually limit the regular belts as I start producing reds. But even then, the reds are going to be limited to 2 slots in total. Except for the actual belts. Now, the reds... Yes, they just require what was previous. They don't require the actual belts like these do. It's always slightly bothered me that you have to have the belt in the middle for the other two, for the step 1, because just the way that stuff gets consumed, the gear wheels get consumed, is that when you set up the red line, you're going to have the underground belts, which will be consuming 40 gear wheels per craft, and then you have the actual belts, which only need 5 per craft, right next to it, so you end up starving yourself unless you have a massive production of gear wheels. Oh, this is... Why did I not think of this sooner? Even more reason to get people to hate me. I can siphon off of this! And actually have 2 gear wheel lines and speed it up just that tiny amount more. I mean, if I really wanted to, yeah, that works. So now I produce enough gear wheels for all of these 3, and then I will... Whatever's left gets up into these. And I can shove more production into the red lines by doing that. That should be fine. Up we go. Get our... Wait, how did I set it up with some degree of purpose? Oh, hey. Give me mediums. No, not that one. That one. And that one, and that one. Okay. Wait, am I off this whole time? I think I'm off this whole time. Sucks to be off. Off by a unit. A set. Alright, I have now maximized my red science, and I have maximized green science. Probably not maximized the consumption of them with the amount of labs that I currently have, but eh. And I also cannot forget that I need at least those 2 lines. Talk about cutting it close here. I'm gonna need the 2 lines on the other side as well. And I did not place these lights very well, because they're taking up what will be another line to feed these. Unless I completely change how I'm doing it when I get access to, robots. Okay, red. I can now limit that, because we are now getting our red stuffs. Now this is going to be limited by the speed of our inserters. But I think I want it to be, because when considering what I want more of, I want a lot more of the belts versus the undergrounds and of the splitters. However, that's not going to stop me from still needing belts in the meantime. Oh hey, have a look at that. I am now consuming all of the iron I am producing. So I have a couple of options at this point. I can see that I am roughly half of the belt being done there. I can either make steel and upgrade to steel furnaces and be fine, which I think is something I will do. I need to do all of that anyway, so I can do that, or I can extend this out another 12 on each side, so another 24. Which I think I'm going to need to do anyway. So I am going to go ahead and do that now. I'll do this now, and then I will set up the steel production. This also means, unfortunately, breaking power briefly. I have nowhere near enough inserters for this, but I can at least get an idea of where to place my doohickeys, so that I can then route the power back in. And then when it comes... Oh, right. Wrong direction. Oops. Oops. These spit out, not feed in. I potentially could feed in, but that's not going to be the purpose of this line. What is the shortage here? Just the iron. Oops. Alright, I got access to those. Next will be engines. I'm not too worried about getting assembling machine 2s, even though they craft marginally faster. It's a difference of 0.5 to 0.75, so... Oh boy! I mean, it's a 50% increase. There's that much, but still, it's rather low. Give me more! I need more. So there are ways of just routing the coal down if I wanted to do that by itself and actually make steel here, but no. I don't feel like doing that. Oh hey, look, I need more poles. Hello, give me automobiles. Automobiles. And that should be that. I am now limited by the production of the actual ore. The belt can handle at least this much extra. So another 6 units will help, at least. Alright, so that gives me a lot better production of the iron. Let there be lights. Probably don't need this many lights. Can't reach. Alright, well that one was probably important. Needs more lights. How's the power doing up there? Looks like it's going just fine. How's it doing here? Badly. Good thing I have engines on hand. Oh yeah, you exist. You no longer exist. Okay, new set. Hello, automobilism. Railways. Need some burners. Oh god. Well, maybe start transitioning to needing to use inserters, actual inserters. While the burners are good to have in case of emergencies, eventually they just won't be able to pick things up because this will eventually be a red belt feeding an even longer line of 20 on each side that'll be fed with its own individual offshore pump. And it will need a red line, for one, to be able to actually feed that, and the coal will move too quickly at higher energy consumption rates, demanding higher energy production rates, demanding more coal to feed it. Of course, I would prefer, since this is vanilla, that I have something a bit better to feed it with. Oh, I can do a bit of manual feeding. I need to get rid of my coal in the inventory, so I will go ahead and do what I can of that. I miss squeak through so much. The one mod to rule them all is squeak through. And then of course I would want to automate the transportation. Let's have a look-see. How much... How many stone thingies do I have? A sufficient number, again. I'm not quite backing... Well, I'm backing up on one lane of the iron. Yeah, I figured it would be limited by that. I will want to obtain some fast inserters, which I can make. I can make fast inserters, so I may as well make fast inserters. Let's set up our mall for the fast inserters. This is going to need more assembling machines. I should probably have an assembling machine mall right next to it. Again, a lot of times people just build one set mall that just keeps flowing backwards and backwards and backwards, fed by a whole bunch of gear wheel machines. Rail signals would be okay at some point. I prefer building more laterally to the main bus and feeding the bus with crap tons of iron that I'll need. I mean, at the start, when you set up the mall, it is a massive consumer of stuff. But eventually, as the chests fill up, you will start backing up and you won't actually be needing that consumption. I always forget what I need exactly. So inserters are used to make long-handled and fast. Fast is used for filter and stack. Fast is used for filtered and stack. But I want the thingy in between. You can actually... Yeah, so what I'm gonna do here is this is gonna be our long handle, this is gonna be our inserter. This is going to be our fast inserter, this is gonna be our filter inserter. And then probably right here, this will be our stack inserter. Stack inserters need fast inserters, and then stack filters need stack inserters. These will require iron plates and iron circuits. These will require require plates, gear wheels, and circuits. These are plates and gear wheels. I'm just thinking about undergrounds and spacing and long-handled inserters and using all those to feed in the electronic circuits. That will be stack. Go ahead and get some landfill going. This will be filter stack. I think that's it in the base game. I think that's it. Yeah, so it's stack inserter from fast, stack filter, yeah. So I need green for these two, these, and these, and these, and these. This is the issue, I would say. And then I need iron plates for this guy. And this guy. I will be producing gear wheels here. So this is just 3 gear wheels. Just to have 3 gear wheels. Not much past this needs the gear wheels though, so honestly... Get automation 2. I might only need the 1 gear wheel production, and I may as well have it be there and fed with a long-handled inserter. Concrete, stone bricks, iron ore, and water. But I think at first I want that lab research speed. Plates, and... Alright, so... This line will have iron plates and green circuits. You require just the green circuits. You require iron plates and green circuits. If this guy requires red circuits, that's fine. I'll bring in a different line for red circuits. Where's the stack inserters? Yeah, it's red circuits for the stack inserter and regular and gear wheels. And gear wheels. Alright. And gear wheels. This does not feed into that. Because that feeds into that. All 3 of those. That'll feed there, and feed that, and that. And then you probably just limit. And then... Voila! That should be working for now. And I will bring in red here. Does this requires cranes as well? It's just greens, no reds. Well, I'm going to bring in a red just for that. I mean, it may as well just keep that going up, because this line is going to be iron plates and green circuits. Half iron, half green. Fortunately enough, doing a half and half like this is incredibly nice. If I had the undergrounds to do it. Give me lab research speed 2. I have reds now. Give me those reds on my hotbar. Why are you not? Because everything else is using all of these, because I don't have inserters fast enough to shove in quickly enough, but yeah. Do I want to do this the reasonable way? Boom. And that will be that. Then it all just needs to be wired up. And ta-da! We are now building fast inserters, which I will probably just limit to that many. We are building filter inserters, which I'm not going to need much of at all. And then stack inserters, probably 3. That one, 1 filter stack. Then a chest of iron gear wheels. Sure, why not? Alright, so you will no longer exist because you will be replaced with fast inserters. And then down here, you actually need those. Then over here, pretty sure you need these. Yes, this also needs to be fast inserters. Time for upgrades. Beautiful upgrades. Fast inserters are, honestly, well, fast. They work well. Yep. That is productive. I'm not doing this right, am I? It's 3 of these to 2 of these. It's 3 of these to 2 of these. Alright, concrete. That is technically correct. I think usually it has a extra gap in there. Now I remember, but oh boy, yeah, that's ever so slightly embarrassing. Grab more fast inserters. I just have to fix this now. I've seen it, so now I need to fix it. Yeah, I'm just going to do this. This one there, that. Alright, so now all of these should be going at 100%. Once that gets a thing. See, if I had the mod bottleneck, I would have seen that a lot sooner. Realized my error. My brain knew it was 3 to 2, it just switched which one was 3 and which one was 2 when building it at the start. Don't mind me, I'm just fixing what should be there, which is the gap. The gap that's lit. And now that can be tiled. That looks a heck of a lot more familiar. That is what I remember all those hours ago playing vanilla. So, what got done today? Well, honestly, quite a fair bit got done today. Vanilla is, well, a lot simpler than Angels and Bobs, where I am at a point in my Angels and Bobs playthrough where I am about to set up the basic electronic boards on the 4th day of streaming, and each stream is about 2.5 hours of actual gameplay. Here we have both of our intro sciences set up, almost through all of the relevant techs. Not quite, but we still have a fair bit before we're stuck behind blue. We got our red belt mall and our inserter mall set up as well. Plus got green circuits going. A lot got done. Didn't quite get to steel yet, but I have the plan for the steel. And, yeah, everything is running. Yeah, so the next steps in this base, if things aren't fixed yet, come tomorrow's stream, what I will end up doing we will continue this playthrough, and I will get the steel set up. I will get more iron in, because I need more iron. Clearly, I need lights in here. I'll clearly get more iron. I will get more... just more everything. More everything. I will get more green circuits going. Probably gonna need more copper going, who knows. Next time will be just more. More, and maybe petrochemicals. Slash oil. If there's oil. I see 0 oil around me at the moment. I will need to go prospecting for oil. And then set all of that up and make plastic and make batteries and do all that wonderful thing. Make solid fuel for blue science to make the process of getting solid fuel easier. All those things that you think about in vanilla. But with that, it is now just about 2 o'clock Eastern Time. I would like to thank you so much for watching. I will be back tomorrow if the mods that I am using on the other playthrough are fixed. For tomorrow, I will play it tomorrow, play that playthrough tomorrow. If not, I will continue with this playthrough. Either way, I look forward to seeing you all again tomorrow, 11 o'clock Eastern Time, under the channel video. There should be a schedule, countdown, timer thingy that ideally adjusts to whatever your local time is. I will see you all then.